And here we are. Hello, world. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. It's our 2-year anniversary show. Can you believe it? 2 years ago, a humble wish, a vision, a dream came to life, came to fruition. My humble wish to, even in challenging times, continue to build bridges, bring people together, enjoy and embrace the camaraderie in the community of the humble cigar. Because unlike any product in the world, this magical, mythical product brings people together from all walks of life, wherever you are around the world. This is it. And here we are 2 years later, with 2 years history of the Light 'em Up Lounge, the Light 'em Up community and family, fantastic shows with friends, people that have become family to us. And I'm utterly grateful for all your tremendous support, for your friendship, for your fellowship along that journey. And today we want to celebrate in style with a fizzy adult beverage with amazing cigars, some very special people that will be here with us tonight. And we want to talk a little bit about what has happened over the last couple of years, not just with Light 'em Up, but in the cigar industry in general. And we want to share some perspectives from people that are very close to my heart, to all of your hearts. And let's get it rolling and let's get things started. Well, first of all, a big cheers to all of you with a little champagne toast. And I'm very grateful that you're here. I have to confess, I won't be able to follow all the comments on Facebook today because we're on location. We're at the mansion, but not just any mansion, the mansion of a very special person that has accompanied this journey like nobody else. And so I would like to bring somebody next to me and invite somebody on the show who has shaped the industry, the tobacco and cigar industry like nobody else. The oldest family in the history of premium cigars and tobacco going back centuries. And today we can celebrate together here at the Miracle Mansion. And I would like to thank from heart the gentleman who will join me in just a second, Mr. Jeremiah Miracle.
Salud and happy birthday to Light 'em Up. Reinhard, what you have done is absolutely magical. Congratulations, congratulations. Welcome to our home. And to everybody out there, L'chaim, l'chaim, and happy birthday to Light 'em Up.
Cheers. Now, Jeremiah, the last 2 years have been incredible. What we have experienced, both positive and negative, is unheard of. It's an incredible time for the premium cigar industry. New media has evolved to heights that we haven't seen before. What you have done with Fuente and Maripful present Meet the Professor show is extraordinary. But when you look back on the last 2 years, what is it that truly strikes your heart? And how do you feel about where we currently are as a global community, as a cigar community? And what are the writings on the wall? What are the signs that you see moving forward?
Well, first of all, Reinhard, I think that once again, it's through difficulty, it's through drama, it's through despair that cigars bring everybody together. What we have all lived through in the last 2 years is unheard of. The entire world has been brought to its knees in a certain way. And yet, we as a cigar community have never been stronger. This is a beautiful example of how we, as the cigar apasionados, as you call them, lift our chins up, lift our heads up, and look at the world and say, you can beat me down as much as you want. At the end of the day, like Carlito Fuente would say, it's all about people. And this is the perfect example. It is all about people.
I couldn't agree more. And it's wonderful to see so many dear friends, fellows, people who were there with us over the last years. And one of them, I would like to say a very special hello to, joining us live with his wonderful fan hat and a wonderful cigar in hands. George Brightman, thank you so much for being here with us today, joining us on this very special occasion, on this very special day. Welcome to the Light 'em Up Lounge.
Thank you. It's an honor. It's a privilege. I'm really thankful to have gotten an invitation to join you all. So of course, happy birthday. And I also, I think it's appropriate that you began all this by mentioning the fact that, in a way, Light 'em Up is like a sibling or a cousin to Meet the Professor too. In other words, they're really twinned missions in terms of creating a global community, reaching beyond what all of us have in our front yard and where our go-to, neighborhood places are where we meet our friends to share a cigar. It's, the cigar community has always been a global community. You can, in our industry, you can travel around the world and it doesn't matter where you plop down. If you can reach out to somebody in the cigar business, you have a friend and a host. And believe me, there are not many businesses like that. So it's one of the reasons why I've been so charmed over, almost a half century in the business. So, and Jeremiah, your family are the shining examples of that. If there was an avatar of tobacco hospitality, the Marifel family are it. And obviously, I've felt that on many occasions, and the bond, the time that we spent together, with your dad in the past and with your granddad, all incredibly powerful. And I'm so excited to, learn about things that are happening and how, what the next steps are. But again, I just really applaud the idea that social media, for all the criticism that it sustains from people about, what it does and the negative effects, the power of social media to draw closer this extraordinary community of great friends, great, really marvelous people, it's just be celebrated, and we're so fortunate to have it. And we're lucky that people like you two spend as much of your time, busy schedule and everything, but you spend as much of your time hosting so that there is a proper venue for people to gather. And it's just, it's a privilege to be a part of it. So thanks for including me.
I think nobody can probably feel that more, or nobody has experienced it in a way like another very special gentleman who thankfully is here with us today. I think it's 11 years now that David Garofalo and the Cigar Authority have truly paved the way for all these programs and for online cigar media with the longest podcast in cigar history. And David, I'm utterly grateful that not only we could celebrate your 10th birthday at the Light 'em Up Lounge and welcome you to the show for that very special occasion, but that you're here with us today on our 2nd anniversary. It's a long way and we have a lot of catching up to do, but you truly have paved the way for modern cigar media and online cigar media with your tremendous show. Besides the fact that you are probably one of the most accomplished and most widely acknowledged retailer and cigar professionals and professional in many different industries out there. I've had the pleasure of reading your books, listening to the Cigar Authority ever since I became interested in premium cigars. And what you have done to the industry cannot be treasured highly enough. But I'm utterly grateful and very happy to see you here with us today. And thus, again, welcome to the Light 'em Up Lounge.
Well, congratulations, 2 years. Actually, April 1st will be 12 years for us in the Cigar Authority. And a lot of people didn't even know what a podcast was in those days. But I'm happy to pass the torch on to you. 2 years in, you have, I remember 2 years in for me, we were still unknown. Very rarely would we have a guest. Is anybody listening? Is what we were asking 2 years in, and you came out like a rocket. And congratulations for that. It's unbelievable what you've done already. And I'm getting to be an old man, so I'm looking at my future, and I'm happy. A big smile on my face seeing it. So congratulations to you.
Thank you from heart. It means so much from somebody like you hearing those words. And I'm curious, what is your perspective on the last 2 years? I mean, we have seen tremendous growth for premium cigars, yet there's also challenges and things that are probably less positive or exciting. But in general, what do you think, looking back on those very special months that we have experienced together?
Boy, what a roller coaster ride it was. And honestly, I got into the cigar business in 1985. It's been a roller coaster ride since then, also. And they said that it was doomsday in 1985, that what are you, crazy, getting into the business in the 80s? And there we got a boom of the 90s. And, then FDA comes along, and it looks like it's doomsday for us. And then we just went through another boom. So it's ups and downs, and you ride the waves as they go on, and you prepare for the bad things as they go on. But I don't think anyone is ever going to take this away. How the gun guys say, from my cold dead hands. I think it's going to be the same thing when it comes to cigars, that you're not going to stop this. I surely hope it doesn't happen, but we will have roadblocks along the way, and we'll figure out the ways around them. And as we have in the past, I talk to Eric Newman all the time about real past history before I was around, with his family that's been 120 years into this. And it happened back in the early 1900s, was the same thing. So here we are in 2022. Whatever comes our way, I think we'll be vigilant, and we'll get through it, and better days ahead. That's what I'm hoping for.
What are the things that you are particularly excited about regarding what has happened, but also what's to come, especially when you look into the near future, the next 12, 24 months? What are you excited to see? What are you hoping to see?
Well, I'm excited about the consumer. Back in the day, the consumer bought their cigars, and that was the end of it. There was very, very little education, very little talk that went along. Then we got so lucky in the 90s, 92 comes Cigar Aficionado, and then people are reading about it. And then with the influx of this type of thing that happens, that people jump on, and there's so many different mediums that this is on. You want to hear people talking about cigars on Tuesday night. You can click on something. It's available to everybody everywhere. Never mind just the cigar lounges that happen. A guy that lives in the middle of nowhere that has a long distance to go. But now we're global. And that's thanks to you bringing the global aspect to it, where here I am in the United States and we have people around the world that get together and talk about the same thing. So it's better, and it's going to be even better as this happens. And I think if this had happened years ago, I don't think we'd have the restrictions maybe that we have today in other countries, because we'd be able to talk to each other. And we're lucky here in the United States that we haven't gone totally off the rails, and we're still able to, in most places, have a cigar still, and we can see the mistakes of the past and learn from them and improve. I'm excited for the consumer. They're involved now. It used to be us by ourselves, and it was a small group by ourselves. Even if you had a cigar store, there were so many cigar shop owners that, just took a back seat, operated their four walls, and what was happening on the outside, they didn't even know. Now it's out there. If you don't know about it, you're choosing not to know about it, because there's platforms like this telling us as it's going. So we're more informed as retailers, as manufacturers, because the consumer's involved also. And we're bigger and stronger if we have the consumer with us also. So I think we're in a better position than we were in the past.
I very much like the fact that you mentioned the evolution of education, how well informed today's cigar aficionados are, not the least because of programs like the Cigar Authority, Meet the Professor, or hopefully Light 'em Up. But I also love the fact that you mentioned the global perspective. And that for us was one of the key components. Let's be honest, when Light 'em Up started, it was the first lockdown. It was the beginnings of the pandemic. And we all faced challenging times, lonely times. Yet what I wanted to share with everybody was that camaraderie and the essence of being united and being together, was at the same time offering a global voice or a more European voice to the industry. And Jeremiah, you and your family, you are the testament of the origins of premium cigars and the tobacco industry, with that European heritage that is so important. And thus, I think, as you rightfully said, David, we are now more closely connected. We're together as a global cigar community, and there's tremendous change also in consumer behavior when we look at the international markets. But Jeremiah, what is your perspective on what I just said and mentioned, and with the heritage and the legacy that your family has and brings to the table on a daily basis?
I'll give you a little anecdote, and I'll share this with everybody. Last Sunday, and Reinhard, I had the honor of having you with me. We were invited to southern Germany, to the village of Untergrumbach in Baden, near the Karlsruhe, the city of Karlsruhe. We were invited by the Oberbürgermeister, who is the equivalent of a mayor, or the person who is running the region, and by a gentleman who had contacted us certain weeks or a month before, announcing that he's an old friend of the family. He is now 95 years old, and that he would like to speak with me. He wanted to have a phone conversation, and out of respect and gratitude, I declined the phone conversation, and I told him that we were going to get on an airplane and we were going to come and visit him. And so we landed in Frankfurt and took a car down to the village where I knew my grandfather was born, my great-grandfather was born, and where my great-great-grandfather had moved to, and his father in 1820, to open up in 1870, the Marifel cigar factory. When I got to the village, I was greeted by this gentleman, by the Oberbürgermeister, who sat us down, has sat me down and says, "We would like to speak to you about your great-great-grandfather." And this gentleman revealed to me that he used to work for Ernst Maripfel, who was my great-grandfather, in the village of Untergumbach. This was a very, very emotional moment for me, because he took me to the place my grandfather was born, his house. It was the house of my great-grandfather. It's now a classified monument in Untergumbach. He took me to the place where his father had lived, the great-great-grandfather. He took me to the site where the Maripfel cigar factory was set up in 1876, which is also a classified area. And they gave us a little bit of history. They shared with us a little bit of history. That the Maripfel family had moved to Untergumbach from a village next door, a tobacco producing village next door, which is called St. Michaelsfeld, and shared with us the documentation and the information, which I had not had. I had heard about it. My grandfather had spoken about it, but I had never seen. Of my great-great-grandfather's father and my great-great-grandfather's grandfather that were dealing tobacco and growing tobacco in Michelsfield in the 16 and 1700s. On that very same day, which was the 20th of March, the day of my mother's birthday, my mother who passed away last year, I had visited the grave of my father, who was buried close to 20 years ago in the village of our ancestors, and paid respect to his father and his grandfather and his great-grandfather and his great-great-grandfather and his great-great-great-grandfather. And it struck me that the history of our industry is like no other. How many industries inspire 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 generations of children to uphold tradition? And at the end of the day, what does tradition mean? Tradition is a blend of love, respect, knowledge, know-how. But it's also bringing forward pride, values, and trying to maintain a notion of immortality. Reinhard, it only reinforced once again the pride I have of being able to serve this industry. It only reinforced once again the duty that we, you, David, George, and everybody out there who's serving in one way or another this industry, reinforces the duty that we have. Because we have the privilege and the honor to serve an industry that has kept and maintained values which are difficult to find anywhere else in the world. And when we left Untergumbach on our way back to Frankfurt to fly back to Brussels, I don't recall any of us saying a single word. we were all silent. Because some things in life silence you. And this, and the tradition that goes behind it, has the power to do that. The cigar industry has the power to bring everybody together, has the power to confederate, has the power to get people to love each other and hug each other and speak with each other. But it also has the power to silence us, which in my opinion is the greatest power of all.
One thing that I realized through those experiences, I'm eternally grateful that you gave me the opportunity to share those moments with you and to experience that. And what I have learned through Light 'em Up and through the journey in the premium cigar industry is that it's not about the cigar.
Okay, you can talk and I'll tell you when. Keep talking.
It's not about the blend, the ring that you put on the cigar, whether it has cookies on there or some other weird notions to market the product and try to sell it. This is something mythical and magical that goes way beyond all of this. And your family history and legacy is the purest testament to that. And the privilege and honor to experience that together with you and through Light 'em Up is something that I can hardly express. I realized early on with Light 'em Up when we brought everybody together and we had 3 shows a week at the beginning that gave solace to the soul and that were soothing and bringing people together in times of despair. It was a convivial get-together. It was a moment of relief. People were chatting with each other. People were sharing those moments, were sharing their emotions. And the platform obviously evolved and it changed. And I have to say one such moment that was very special was an interview, a show that we did together with another gentleman who is here with us today. I'm most grateful for that very particular moment. It is a manufacturer. It is a genius of creating new ideas and new formats for this wonderful industry. But this very gentleman wasn't talking about blends or new cigars that would come on the market, but he was seated in his daughter's room, all dressed in pink with a wonderful little Barbie house there. And I somehow understood that Light 'em Up is so much more than a podcast or a live show or just a cigar geeks get together, but it is something that has meaning. Like the cigar, it has meaning. And so I'm very happy that John Huber is with us today and that he gave me the opportunity to realize that in a new and different way and to better understand through this journey and through this process what Light 'em Up could be and should be and what cigars are all about. And exactly what you said before, Jeremiah. John, I'm so grateful for that moment that I will keep in very best memory forever. And I'm truly grateful that you're here with us today for our special anniversary show.
Thank you, and
Welcome,
congratulations.
and fellow.
Pleasure. It's good to be here and congratulate you on all your hard work and getting this group together and just kind of making the world a little bit smaller for everybody. So it's really nice to join in here. Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much, John. Can you share with us in your humble opinion and perspective over the last years, what is it that you have experienced through the challenges of the last 24 months, but also through the joyful moments and the booming industry that we currently experience? What, in your perspective, looking back but also looking ahead, makes this time so special?
Well, for me, I it's kind of like any kind of obstacle or challenge is an opportunity to become better or create something or get a positive out of a negative, so to speak. So for me, if you're referencing the virus and the whole lockdown and all that, what my takeaway from it was, it drew me closer to my family and really kind of was a hard reset to what priorities were important in my personal life. Having family come before. And I love this business. I've been doing it half my life. I don't know how to do anything else. But it's sometimes we place more of a priority on our industry. As much as we love it, it's easy to fall into that trap. But the pandemic for me was a hard reset to reassess my values and really spend time with my family, which was a blessing. And then in terms of the industry, I mean, I can remember the first Zoom call our company had in March of 2020, and we were like, okay, tighten your belts. We don't know what's going to happen here. And in hindsight, it was a complete boom for our industry, which is, we've all been, reaping the benefits of that. And knock on wood, I'm grateful for that. We've able to keep everybody on payroll, pay everybody's benefits, keep everybody going. And we've actually grown the business tremendously over the last 18 months. So, all in all, it was a positive experience for me.
Very glad to hear that. Thank you.
Even though I did have the virus, so who hasn't though, right? Like,
yeah,
I think
exactly.
pretty much. I know more people that have had it than have not. So, but we get through those things.
Well, I always have the words of a certain gentleman ringing in my ear, who calls himself a COVID survivor, and Light 'Em Up wouldn't be the same without Jose Blanco. I fondly remember smoking my very first Opus X love affair during the interview with Jose Blanco, the first time that I actually sat down with Jose and shared a cigar, and thankfully many more followed. Jose, I know you're busy, you're doing an event, but this show just couldn't exist or be there and go on without you saying hello. Jose Blanco, welcome.
First of all, I would like to congratulate you on 2 years of exceptional work, dedicated, honest. I wish all the cigar media would be the way you are, with your honesty, the way you handle yourself. And I'm here with 40 passionate cigar lovers at the Cigar Club in Prague that they all want to say, congratulations.
Wow.
Let me
That's very special.
Let me tell you something. There's a lot of people here that watch the show, and I talked with a lot of them, and they have learned a lot from you. They follow you, and they're just waiting for you to learn Czech so they can turn in also, and you can have a version of Czech language, and they'll do it. Anyway, to all my good friends, George, Jeremiah, and everybody who's tuning in tonight, Rai, and I know so many special people there. I want to wish you all the best. Take care. I'll rewatch the show tomorrow. Have a wonderful evening. Jeremiah?
Jose,
Yes.
be careful. Today is, what is today? Wednesday, Thursday?
Wednesday.
Wednesday. On Sunday, careful that nobody nails you.
They've been trying to nail me for years. They can't. But anyway, it was great to see my good friend John Hubert. That I hope that everything is working out well in his family, because we want him on our show also. So, John, a big hug
Thank
to
you,
you.
Jose.
You know I love you, brother.
I appreciate it. I love you back, man. Thank you so much. We'll do it one of these great days. I look forward to the opportunity.
Okay, take care. Good night, everyone. And everybody, congratulations again to Light 'em Up.
Fantastic.
Good night, guys.
Isn't that wonderful? That's the power of cigars. And also the power of cigars. You said it before, in challenging times and days. I'm having a very hard time, to be honest, to bring on the next gentleman who is probably living through the most challenging time in his life. Yet, I feel that we are so connected, and it's so important in days like these to send a message of love, of unity, and of hope, not only to the cigar community, but to the world. Our fellow friend and brother Oleg, words
Hello,
cannot
everyone.
express what you're experiencing right now, what you're living through. But I wanted to say that we're all together. You are in our hearts. You are in our prayers. And on behalf of the Light 'em Up community and family, and I'm sure that all the cigar family will join me in this, we wish you the very best. We hope you are safe, stay safe, and still find the moment of solace lighting up a fabulous cigar. My brother, I'm glad that you're here, and thank you, despite everything
Thank you
that's going on, for taking the time. It is most greatly appreciated.
Thank you so much. I have just a few minutes when to go to the bomb shelter, because for now we have like 1 hour rest and 1 hour run. So I have actually have a good sport with running, and dress myself as so quick as I never supposed to. So you know the situation very well. I will not share all this shit what is going on here, but fortunately I start to understand Winston Churchill, who smokes like 8-10 cigars per day. So it was not his hobby; it's just being survival in his nerve system. And for now I smoke at least 1 cigar per day, and really it helps me not to be crazy. Fortunately, my family is safe, safe with Marko Bilic in Split, Croatia. I'm really so glad to everyone from our cigar community who helps my family in Poland, in Vienna. And my mother-in-law, actually was never been abroad, and for 7 days he crossed 6 countries. It's what I need to say. The humor try to keep us all alive, and friendly speaking, Marco and every of us from Cigar World can ask me why you should not leave country, and I said, first of all, I cannot leave it because of the law, and if even I will have a possibility to escape from the war, I will not do this, because who will defend our country. So anyway, really every day we run the roulette, because the Iskanders and Caliber missiles very fast, and even if you will see will hear the alarm, it's like a roulette. So we live now here as a last day. So, but I suppose we'll smoke each other life, personal with each other, my friends. And but I never say goodbye, but just run to shelter to make a possibility to tell you hello next day. So my friends, share love and share support, and we really feel support. Everyone tell me that this madness will finish soon. I will say no. I know the real situation here. We just waiting for the very strong missile attack and bomb attack, and unfortunately European Union and NATO will just close the eyes and say, okay, we'll see what will be next. What will be next? It will be the next European countries. So the third world war will be obligatory, and if NATO will understand it now, a lot of lives will be saved. So my friends, really, unfortunately, the sad celebration of Lighten Up show, but we obligatory light Russians up, and every enemy will be destroyed, and we'll smoke cigars. Also, I keep the Opus 6 for the Victory Day. So I think it will be the great day with Opus 6 and with great whiskey and champagne. And you will be all my guests. My dear friends, keep fingers crossed and keep in touch. So let's drink for myself and then smoke the best cigar what you have. My friends, keep fingers crossed.
We're praying for you, Oleg.
I think, Oleg, I think that this is a huge opportunity for all of us here, every single one of us, on behalf of Reinhard and the Merrifield family and every single person who's on the show and who's watching the show and who will watch the show. I guarantee you that every single person is praying for you, is praying for every single victim of this war, by close or by far. We all aspire to peace and to safety. None of this makes any sense to any of us, especially not in the 21st century. It never probably did, but it certainly doesn't now. And I would like, and I am asking every single person here to take a moment tonight or tomorrow. Whether you believe in the Almighty or not is irrelevant, but make a prayer for every single human being that is scared right now, that is at risk right now, that their families are at risk right now. We cannot even fathom to understand what must be going through your head. Having your family far away from you and you standing up for what you believe in. And what a reflection and a testimony to not only our industry, but to human beings and to humankind.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, my dear friends, and everything will be okay. And believe me, our forces and me personally will do everything, even if it costs for me the life. You and your and my family and everyone's family will be safe. So keep in touch, keep in peace, my dear friends. Need to run. Sorry.
God bless you. Stay safe.
God bless you. Bye.
Yes. Oleg, we toast you. We salute you.
God bless you.
You're in our prayers.
And we love you, brother.
May this be a humble tool that brings us together and that reminds us of what matters. Respect, in particular towards other opinions that are not our own. Challenges that we probably cannot even comprehend. And that we truly care about
Each other.
each other. Amen.
Amen.
Sai, you wanted to say something about the global movement, and I think it's very appropriate after what we heard and what Oleg and so many people currently are going through. And our prayers and our respect are with everybody, no matter which opinion, no matter which side they're on, but I feel with everybody, and I want to send a message of love and unity, of peace and respect to everybody, as we always did with Light 'em Up, because that was the idea, how this all came together and how it all came to life. Simon,
Yeah.
brother.
Yeah, I must say that's cheers, guys, and happy birthday, everybody. But I must say, seeing Oleg there, it puts things into perspective. I've been in contact with Oleg, especially before his family were safe, to offer his wife, his child, and his mother-in-law room in my house to take them in. But luckily, they got closer to home, I suppose. But it's not. People should help each other. You've got to pay things forward. I mean, we're all human beings at the end of the day, and no matter what opinions we have, culture, creed, religion, look, you have to have feelings in this world, or else it wouldn't be a world worth living in, you know. But I just want to say about it's great to see, but on a lighter note, just to see how it has evolved over the last couple of years. Now with the Sister Relief Global Movement as well, I think is very important. People like myself, Lefty Carofalo, days around the collaboration committee, which makes it's great because we're all family. We're all family of the Leaf, and I think male and female can help each other moving forward. We laugh, we joke about different things in this, and it brings us to a time where I think when things happened with COVID, with family problems, everything, the cigar helped so many of us so much. And of course, the people then through the Zooms, through everything else, through social, through this simple things like this, just people sitting down, having a cigar, helped so many of us, both especially mentally. And it's a wonderful thing that's come out of misery at the time. But I think at the end of the day, when I have to put my hands off to the way we've brought things together, with people coming together, and even simple things like Light 'em Up, the Zoom bar, different platforms, including the Cigar Lounge International. Anybody we've reached out to on a Tuesday, anybody has not refused to come on in the industry. And the amazing thing is, we laugh, we joke, but we learn so much. And I think for people to give their time, because at the end of the day, guys, time is the most important thing on earth, because you cannot get your time back. So even people putting posts out there, putting stuff out there, trying to run things, it's your time that we take to do it. We all have families, we have work commitments. I'm in work now. We have different things we have to do, but I think the time is important with it. And the fantastic thing is that so many people that, like yourself, Ryan Hart, the Merifels, the Fuentes, the Perdomos, David Garofalo, who's there, Brightman. I'm still trying to get him on. You better. I've sent you a message. You didn't even answer. You said you'd come on, but no, seriously. Coop, everybody, like, they give us the history of their experiences, and then families like Fuentes, Jose Blanco, fantastic. Like we learn so much. And I think it's because it's not just, it's the history, the adversity, the things they've went through, just to put the humble cigar out there and all the people that work so hard in the backgrounds, not just the manufacturers, companies, but the people that it's their life, it's their bread and butter. And so it's so important. So I just want to say things like this, like Light 'em Up World, shows the world that we care. We care about the people in this industry, and we all care for each other. And there's a lot of love out there. There's not a day go by where you wouldn't think, I wonder how Jeremiah is today. I wonder how Reinhardt is today. I wonder how Jose, like I was talking to Jose earlier on about something. I wonder how Joey is today. It's just the way, it's a massive family. And please God, like hopefully the world, things in the Ukraine will stabilize and we'll get all if you think about it, just 2 weeks before the turmoil in Ukraine, we had Dolly on the cigar lounge, and we were chatting about whiskey, we were chatting about all sorts of things, the wild geese and all this. In the blink of an eye, the world can change, people. So look after each other, and look after yourselves and each other, and we'll always be a family. And that's all I have to say. Okay, so happy birthday.
Thank you from heart, Si. Macy had a question. Macy, welcome to the show, and thank you for your wonderful support over the past years and for being part of the Light 'em Up family and community. I'm glad that you're here with us today, and all our love and all our blessings to you in Mississippi. Thank you for joining us.
Even if you don't mean that, Reinhardt, I accept it, and I'm going to pretend that you did. So let me just say, first of all, I'm marking this moment in my history because I am speaking with my two man crushes, Jeremiah Mirafel and the George Brightman. Actually, I am not joking. When I grow up, I want to be George Brightman. And when I grow up, I want to dress like Jeremiah Mirafel. Those two stripes today, Jeremiah, you are the godfather. Where did you get that? Is a Manhattan. I do not want to piss you off in that suit, sir. Looks beautiful, but I'm not fucking with you. I am, however, smelling some sweet, delicious Cameroon right now. I've heard if it's not Mirafel, it's not Cameroon. That seems to be true. Can't wait to light this up. And okay, that's my, first of all, happy birthday, Mr. Poharek. That's for your nightmares. I won't jump out of the cake. Let me also say, the first time I saw Cy Sweeney, I was intimidated of him, and now he's just the biggest Irish teddy bear. He is the sweetest guy. Cy, man, I mean,
just don't get on my wrong side.
Yeah, actually, that might be scarier than Jeremiah's Godfather, A Vengeance. No, I've got two questions to my man crushes. Jeremiah, would you, and then you probably get annoyed by this, can you give your best, maybe it's been a heavy day, maybe if there's something uplifting, that would be good. What is your best, least told story about your family's operations in Cameroon? And can you also give a little history about how your dad got into that, or if it was your grandfather? I've looked into it. I'm really interested in how that started. But so if you can do that and provide a gem of a story about the craziness of farming in Cameroon, I'd love to hear it. And to my man, George Brightman, who, let's be honest, made a Cigar Aficionado what it is. I said it, I stand by my comments, what it was. Pardon me. Can you give, likewise, a gem of a story, maybe not told as much, about when you were at Davidoff? I've heard your Avo story is just classic. Do you have any other gems like that you can share with us? And thank you, and light them up. Just best to Ukraine and best to all you. Happy birthday.
All right, George, you start.
And George, before we start, let me just say something.
The problem with George, if he starts, we don't know if he's going to finish.
I just want to say, I believe Macy just opened up the conversation that will lead us directly to our third birthday, because we'll be here forever if you guys start rambling on. George, stage is yours.
Well, listen, thanks. It's great to hear yourself described in such glowing terms. Nice for old people to be remembered.
George, don't worry. This is recorded. You can watch it again if you want.
You're not Blanco old, don't worry. You're not that old.
So I'll tell you, the Avo stories go on forever because there were so many great ones. But there were all kinds of people who came in and out. I'll tell you one quick story it's not related really to anybody. No tobacco legends, but in my time at Davidoff, I was in the shop one day looking, just on the floor and looking out the window, and all of a sudden this big black limo pulls up on the sidewalk, which in Madison Avenue in that area in Midtown is like a complete no-no. And these guys get out in suits, and I'm like, uh-oh. And they come in and they stand inside the door like, mafia hitmen, and I'm like, okay, this is not so cool. And they look around to see who all is there, and then they turn around and give the nod to the guy in the limousine, and out steps this guy, very small, beautifully dressed, but totally casual. It's like, I thought some giant or legend or whatever comes out, and I'm like, wow, what's going on? And when he steps inside the door, I recognized it was Juan Carlos, right? The King of Spain. So maybe the guards were understandable. And he comes in and he's like, listen, I'm having a little party later and I need some cigars. And I'm sitting there going, oh my God, well, how many people are going to be there? And he goes, oh, I don't know, maybe a few hundred. And I'm like, what? Right. So I put together a humidor. We did all, I made all the arrangements for him. And I'll tell you, this is a really cool thing. The King of Spain pulled out his own wallet and his own credit card and paid for all this stuff. And then I said, listen, I know you probably got a million things to do. Just let me know where this has to go and I'll get it there. And he goes, well, that's very nice. But, I've got my guys here, they can take it. So I said, well, okay, what's going on anyway? And he goes, I'm having a little reception after the UN General Assembly. Okay, right? And he's rattling off names of all these people that are going to be there. And so I laid the whole thing out and I told him all this stuff and I gave him details about what was there. And they trundle off. They take the stuff out the window, they put it in the back of the limo and they drive away. About an hour later, the same guys show up and they have this envelope, which has got a seal on it and everything. And they said, this is for you, and gave it to me. And it was an invite to Juan Carlos's party. And I'm like, whoa, what, me? And they said, he'd like it if you come, because that way maybe you could help his guests understand what was there. So I got invited to the King of Spain's cigar party after the General Assembly meeting of the United Nations with all these people that were there. And my God, it was head spinning. It was absolutely incredible. And I was like, okay. And by the way, that's Juan Carlos was an amazing character himself anyway, but that's a day and time that we need, because the group of people who were in that room represented the four corners of the globe. There had to be an endless array of conflicts that were present, represented by the people that were there, and yet it was an extraordinary evening, and the air about the whole place was camaraderie and understanding. It was legitimately a United Nations moment. So
Did you get the Israeli and the Palestinians to have a cigar together?
Lucky, somebody will have a cigar party. And maybe cooler heads will prevail, and Oleg's family can come home and he'll be safe once again to discuss with us Ukrainian brandy.
That's nice.
And Jeremiah's looking like, what? Is that it? It's over?
I'm surprised. I mean, I was ready to go have a cocktail, a cigar, and come back. But you know what? Can we swear on this?
You sure can.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
So anyways, Macy, before I answer your question, Did anybody ever tell you you look like the result of the copulation between Burns and what's his name? And our friend
Matt Damon, no, I don't get that very
no,
often.
no, you're like
That's not-
you're something between
I get the
between
friend
Burns-
from,
you're something between Burns and Woody Allen. I love it. And then you're raving on about my suit, but you look the part, my friend. I love
well,
it.
you know, I actually, I went to law school. I quoted Woody Allen in the first sentence of my law school essay.
Why does that not surprise me?
And anyway, I think I'm neurotic enough to be Woody Allen, maybe. No, what I get all the time, Mr. Mirafel, is, and that is a great suit, by the way. And your scarves, well, those speak for themselves. We don't need to go there. But
Well, we got to bring this guy to Europe. He would fit right in. This is perfect.
your liver can't handle it, Jeremiah. I accept your challenge, and let's get your son to transplant list. My marriage can't handle it either, but you know, what I get all the time, those the friend from Ferris Bueller's Day Off. I don't know if you remember that movie.
Oh yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cameron. That I was called Cameron in high school.
Yeah, absolutely.
So-
Well, listen,
Macy, you look like Woody Allen and Stephen Colbert had a love child.
I get Stephen Colbert. I actually was at a conference, and they told me, you know, an uglier, a lot better than people tell me I look like, you know, a sex offender. So I'll take it.
Yeah.
Like, I saw you on that. That was you. No, not me.
All right.
Jeremiah, you can't delay your best.
I'll tell you a
I know
story.
you
I'll
guys,
tell
your
you a story
best
of I'll tell you a
Cameroon.
story of my father that I haven't ever told anybody, but actually it's very appropriate because one of my father's best friends is here. Michel, come here for a second. Put your glasses. Come here. One of my father's best friends is actually sitting here next to me. This is Michel Leroy. Some people call him the king. The other part of the people call
Hello.
him the Great Gatsby.
Hello.
So this was one of
I'm
Daddy's
just-
best friends here.
I'm just a cigar aficionado. Hello to you.
And thank you for what you do.
All right, I'll tell you a story about Daddy. So
By the way, your dad, I've never seen someone talk about fashion. Did he always wear like an Oxford broadcloth shirt while farming in Cameroon? Every picture I see of him, he's got the Oxford classy.
as a matter of fact, he did.
The Baron of Button-Downs.
I got to find if I have that picture of my father when he was 18 years old, because that's exactly the story I'm going to tell you. Where's that picture? I don't know where it is. Anyways, you guys will see it soon. When my father was 18 years old, he went to Cameroon. That was the time of the Ceuta. It was the time of the French monopoly. And he was a kid. He was sent to Eastern Cameroon in the Western Central African Republic. And he started learning farming in Cameroon in a village called Lolo and Belita. Now, these villages are basically on the edge of the Kadai rainforest. For those who don't know what the Kadai rainforest is, the Kadai rainforest is a big forest which crosses over between Eastern Cameroon, Western Central African Republic. And then when you go down south, it goes into the Congo. And it's the second densest rainforest on the planet after the Amazon. There's a reason why Cameroon's Cameroon. There's a reason why we keep doing what we do. There's a reason why that tobacco tastes the way it tastes. There's a reason why we get about 80 or 90% less yield than any other wrapper on the planet. And there's a reason why that tobacco is the most expensive tobacco in the world. And it's not because it's just a pain in the ass to grow. It's because it's very, very difficult to grow in very, very harsh conditions. And in 1969, Daddy was 18 years old. And he's in a small plantation, because they're all small plantations down where we're growing our tobacco, about 1 hectare, 100 meters by 100 meters. And he's in the seed beds. He's working in the seed beds right on the forest, in a clearance on the forest. And all of a sudden he hears a noise. 1969. And he raises his head and he turns around and he looks into the forest. What does he see? He sees a person there, very short person, doesn't quite understand what's going on. Is it a child? He doesn't understand. It's just quite far away, and it grabs his attention. And there is a person there, through the branches, through the leaves, looking at him. He's sitting there with his cigar, kneeling on the seed beds, smoke coming up from his cigar. And this person is looking at him, and Dad turns around and they meet eye to eye. There's eye contact. This was the first encounter between my father and the pygmies, because this forest is the forest of the pygmies. And this was the beginning of a friendship which was going to last a lifetime between my father, Richard Merifel, and the pygmies. This is also one of the main reasons why Dad was so attached to Cameroon, to Eastern Cameroon, to the Kadai rainforest, because he was one of the only people of his generation, and even later, who was brought in and accepted and part of the family of the pygmies of the Cameroonese rainforest. I have never told that story to anybody. This is a story which has been in our family for many, many, many years, which our father shared with us, and which I think is very appropriate, Mr. Hansen, to your question.
Wow, thank you.
Jeremiah, one of these days you have to tell people everything you have to do in order to get to those fields, which in 1969 was even more heroic. But the effort that is required to arrive to where this tobacco is grown it's the stuff of a Steven Spielberg movie. And you know, your dad, you guys have, I mean, I don't know how young you were when you first went, but my God, it's an epic journey.
So the first time I went to Cameroon, I was,
I'm sorry, did he, how much tobacco was being grown in that region? I guess, were other people doing it? Your father saw it and then he began farming tobacco himself, or, and where did the local get that cigar that he's, or your father had this cigar, or the local? I mean, that's a fact. Who had this cigar? Your father or the local?
So my father was smoking the cigar. He was enjoying the cigar. But tobacco was grown in the region historically for many, many years. Indigenously, absolutely. It's a different type of tobacco, obviously, indigenously. I mean, this is maybe a subject for a different moment in a different show. But let's just say that the Merifel family stepped in and bought out the French monopoly operations many years later, when the government basically abandoned tobacco growing in the region. We worked with the French monopoly for many years. And then finally, in the very early 90s, the French abandoned the country. The industry that the tobacco was being used for disappeared. The tobacco was being used for, at that time, mainly for black cigarettes, the Gitane and the Gauloise, which were being produced in France, and also for the cigarillo industry, the Fleur de Savane, which was being produced by the CETA for that part of Europe. Once those days were over, it was the beginning of the end, and the tobacco was recognized. My father recognized that it could become a significant tobacco for the premium cigar industry, simply because of its taste, with very little modification, very little, keeping the natural essence of what was actually being done. And looking at the industry in a very different way. You know, my father was, before anything, he was a tobacco man. He was a man of the leaf. In our family, we called it the sacred leaf. We called it, it wasn't looked as a commodity. It was looked at as magic. And there was nobody out there that was willing to put so much work for so little return. And it was basically just abandoned by the world. And this is where the Merifel family stepped in, where if my father stepped in and said, you know what, it doesn't matter. What matters is preserving something which is unique to the world. And yeah, he followed his instinct. He followed his dream. He lost his life to it as well. But at least he lost his life with a smile on his face and his chin up. And that's something which in our family is unfortunate, but also fortunate, a reoccurring thing, but something we're very proud of. Macy.
Thank you for your time. That's
No, thank you.
amazing. Amazing response. Thank you for sharing that. That was really really interesting. Thank you.
He saved a country. He saved a country, he saved a way of life. He saved an heirloom product, which today we all get to enjoy, you know, without appreciating anywhere near what goes into ending up as part of the cigars that we love. But man, that's a noble act.
And George, I mean, yes, it is. And thank God for the manufacturers out there who were behind it as well and who believed in it. Without a few of the tobacco manufacturers, the cigar manufacturers that believed in this dream and that got behind, you know, my father, and when my father suddenly passed away, got behind myself and Joshua.
Yeah.
Without those families who still believe in excellence and still believe in the product. And I say the product because purchasing Cameroon tobacco wouldn't make sense to most manufacturers. That's not how you make profit in this industry, is by buying Cameroon tobacco. You can get away with murder. Why would you ever go out and pay 10 or 15 or 20 or 30 times the price for Cameroon tobacco? Well, you know what? It's because they really want to make the best cigars. It's as simple as that.
Because there's no other place to find that flavor. And it has that Cameroon tobacco has created the distinctive top note for some of the most legendary cigars in this world in the last 50 years at least. And it stands today the same way.
Do you know who brought the seed from Indonesia? Was that indigenous peoples or was that Europeans? Do you know how, what we call Cameroon, how those genetics actually got there? Sorry to jump in, but
I believe it's the French monopoly that brought in the Indonesian tobacco into Cameroon.
The French were experimenting with more than one seed type, but the Sumatra was what was successful.
And remember that in those days, the wrapper of the world was Sumatra. That was considered the Patek Philippe of the tobacco industry, of the cigar industry, particularly for the European markets.
Yeah, for the European market, it was the only thing that could even remotely rival the great Havana wrappers of, you know, the Corojo from the Vuelta Abajo. And it justifiably did. And there it was used in cigars large and small, and in extraordinary factories, many of which are gone thanks to other socioeconomic factors. But the thing is, a handful of really, really wise and committed cigar manufacturers sustained Cameroon's place as the king of wrapper in the world marketplace.
George, close your ears. I don't want you to hear this because in Belgium we say dikke nekke. It means you have a big fucking head and it's big enough and I don't want it to get bigger. So please, shut your computer off for a second so I can
Right.
say this to everybody. But, everybody out there and people watching this show, you have no idea. I don't think anybody has an idea how knowledgeable George Brightman is. I'm now the last of the Merrifield lineage. Hopefully my children will grow up fast enough to be able to learn and to continue this 300-year heritage that we've been fighting through, and whatever that's another discussion for another day. But I don't have a father left. I don't have a grandfather left. I don't have a great grandfather left. I don't have any, that's it. This is, you get what you see, and this is what's left. I have nobody to speak to anymore. I don't have that much opportunity to sit down with the manufacturers every day, living in Europe and spending time with and a lot of them are dead. They're gone. The Carlos Seniors, the Edgar Coleman's, that generation is gone. George Brightman, George, when I speak to you and I listen to you, it's like sitting at a dinner table with my family that are no longer here. I fucking love it.
Well, thank you. It's such a pleasure. It's such a privilege to be able to share, thoughts and memories with you, and to watch, that it continues, that it sustains, that we still have this magic leap is the right way to describe it, to keep us all tethered. And yeah, we're halfway around the world from each other right now, but I feel as close to you as a brother, and I can't wait to see you later this year. And I think the world of you, and I think you and your brother have what you've sustained is it's fantastic. And we're, look, it's easy for all of us to say, well, thank goodness it's around, but to really appreciate what a struggle it was and how committed you guys have remained. It's really a testament, and talk about a family legacy to be proud of. My God, it is the living embodiment of the fact that our industry, unlike almost any other that you can think of in the world, sustains these family commitments to land, to agricultural techniques, which otherwise would be lost to the mists of time. They're the art of tobacco manipulation it could easily have gone the way of whatever the skills were that guided the pyramid builders. It could be lost, except for the passion and commitment of people like your dad and your grandfather.
And you know how we're going to celebrate this? Every single one of us here, hopefully, is going to attend the PCA, because we need to support these organizations. And I'm going to be there. And we're going to celebrate this by celebrating the people who are communicating all of this and getting us all together. These Reinhard Porricks, we're going to put them on our shoulders, and we're going to be dancing. We're going to do simcha. We're going to dance in a circle all together, arm in arm, and jump up and down and celebrate the second anniversary of these people here, which are making sure that you and I and all of the rest of us here are coming together. And we're going to be touching each other, and we're going to be hugging each other, and we're going to be kissing each other. Thank God he's not too heavy, and we're going to put him on our shoulders, and we're going to scream happy birthday to light him up, and congratulations to Reinhard Porrick.
Yeah. We'll imagine that we're hearing the.
And I'm not doing it with Cy on my fucking shoulders, I can tell you that.
No, it'd be great. And that's, like I said,
I'll throw you on mine, Jeremiah. I'll throw you on mine, no problem.
George, everybody out there, everybody watching, this is another testament that this is by far the most inspiring, the most rewarding, and the most wonderful industry there is. The premium tobacco and premium cigar industry is mesmerizing, fascinates me every single day and is filled with stories that are worthy to be told and that need to be told. And this is why we all, as a global family and global cigar family, continue to celebrate and cherish exactly that. The community and the camaraderie and the stories that are so important because they tell us something about life and about us as human beings.
Yeah, about who we are.
And I would like to conclude the show by bringing on somebody who has dedicated his life to telling these stories, bringing people together, and a gentleman who also gave me the opportunity to become part of that ecosystem and to continue telling those stories. A gentleman who believed in my humble vision, idea, and dream, and my wish to tell those stories and to continue bringing people together. Reinhold, what you have done for the premium cigar industry is beyond belief. And you continue to do so in the most humble, sincere, and honest way. And whilst carrying the flame and keeping tradition alive, you haven't shied back from also believing in new and innovative ideas. Crazy dreams and visions like light them up. And you have given me an opportunity to be here together with all of you. And for that, I'm eternally grateful for your support and for what you have presented to the premium cigar industry. Thank you. And thank you for being here with us today for this very special occasion.
Thank you, Reinhard. First of all, happy anniversary. I was, as you know, very skeptic when you first presented the idea to us. And thought, you know, I've never heard about Zoom or video conferencing or anything like that. And then I love the smell of paper and magazines and newspapers. Everything was very new to me, what you presented. And I'm so proud of you, Reinhard. You are in our minds the most serious, the most informative, the most educational, and basically the most relevant video platform of the cigar industry. And I congratulate you for that. And this is also the reason why you got 2 awards from Cigar Journal. And you very well deserve it. You did a tremendous job thinking back to the times when everybody was in lockdown and nobody could move out and we couldn't have events and we couldn't attend any shows and stuff like that. You had the vision to do what you do now the best. And thank you for that, Reinhard. It's really a pleasure working with you, and I'm very proud of you. And on top of that, I would like to add a sentence to George and his guys. George, you guys, you paved the way for cigar media, and your magazine is great, and you have a super followership, and I like what you have done, with one exception. that you reduce the focus of cigars to lifestyle. But everybody has to survive. I understand that completely. We at Cigar Journal, we are a geek, whatever call it, magazine, but and we have the luxury to, or we took the luxury to focus on cigars. I know it's very difficult, and you have to survive, especially in these times when printing a magazine is not an easy task. Our costs have quadrupled over the last 2 years. But anyway, I'm glad to see you there. I admire you. You're a great guy, and Cigar Aficionado wouldn't be what it is without you. So thank you very much, and looking forward to our next Light 'em Up show or talk.
Absolutely.
To everyone in this group, I want to say, I love you. You are great guys. I see you, I follow you on the social media. I see your contributions to Light 'em Up show. David, your Cigar Authority is my regular for a decade now. What you do is so much fun and so informative. I cannot tell you, how I sit in front of my computer and laugh, and I'm thinking of you, I'm there with you, and it's the greatest joy to see every one of you all the time on all these media and on social media, and I feel so connected to you guys. It's great. And Reinhard, you are a special part of that. Thank you.
Thank you from heart, Reinhold. And thanks to everybody who believes in what we do, supports our humble cause and the humble journey of Light 'em Up. 2 years that have changed our lives and most certainly have changed my life. I was beyond honored to write my first ever cover story, not just for Cigar Journal, but any magazine out there, about you, Jeremiah.
Great story.
About your family legacy that reminds all of us of what I said before, that this is the most beautiful industry, that these stories need to be told, need to be remembered, and that a very few have the guts, the will, and the power to make the impossible possible, to honor tradition, perpetuate legacies, and to uphold what we all believe in. Thank you, Jeremiah, for allowing me to be part of that legacy and that journey. And what you will bring to the table and what you will build is the true testament to the legacy of tobacco and premium cigars. Thank you. And thank you to all of you for joining us on this journey and being here with us together. And today, more than ever, light them up
Light them up.
all together because we are one. Thank you from heart.
Happy birthday, light 'em up.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.